What's up guys, it's Darius, and today I'm bringing you guys another Final Fantasy 15 video, and this is basically just going to be a whole roundup of what happened in the January active town report that happened yesterday, really late at night for people on the East Coast. And this is basically 40 plus pieces of information or facts about the game and also the event that's going to be held in March. So let's get started. So the first thing that they said, or like the first piece of information, was that they finished the pre-beta version of the game and they're on to the beta version, which is basically debugging. The next fact is that because they're at the beta, they're close to announcing the date, which obviously will be in March. So then they actually went on to show the newest progress report for the game. And out of that, one of the information that we got, that fire is confirmed that fire catches to flammable objects and can go on for a very long time. The next piece of information is that both allies and enemies take damage from environmental damage like fire. So for example, if fire catches onto the grass and it continues to burn, not only will the enemies take damage, but you and your party will take damage. The next fact is that magic is widespread early in the game due to realism, but will have drawbacks. So they basically wanted to say that like fire is going to be a very widespread thing. It's going to basically have the effects of Furaga earlier on because, you know, in the world, because it's so realistic, things will catch on fire. But there will be drawbacks, like we said before. You can actually take damage from fire as well if you're not careful. Magic strength is confirmed to be effective based on weather. So like I was saying in my earlier videos talking about magic, if you use fire in the rain, it's going to be, you know, for example, less effective. The next fact is that environmental damage stays that way for a while. Another fact is that magic connects with astrals and gods of Final Fantasy 15. Magic and energy will return to the world where it came from. So yeah, he basically said that just to kind of give more clarification as to why, magic is very much a part of the world and the environment is affected by it as well, because it has to do something with the actual Eidolons and gods and astrals in the lore of Final Fantasy 15. He also confirmed that the other magic that we'll get in the game besides fire is blizzard and thunder. The next fact is that they're not going to have a huge selection of fire, but make the selection of fire that is available, like blizzard, thunder, and fire, very effective and meaningful to the gameplay. The next fact is that thunder will transfer if material is a conductor. So if you use thunder in water, it's going to be extra effective, but again, be careful because you can be affected by it as well. Another fact was that he confirmed that water will freeze when you use blizzard, and monsters will slow if affected by blizzard. The next fact is that magic isn't magic. You have to gather energies from the world to craft these magics, so you have to be careful how much you use them. So basically, magic isn't just going to be the traditional way we think of magic. You just have this power. You actually have to go out throughout the world and collect these different materials, I guess probably in the form of crystals, to form these magics. And this was actually sparked up because one of the AO, I forgot his exact name, but in the active time report, he asked Tabata why Noctis, when he used fire in the gameplay, why did it look like it was in a grenade form or like in a ball? And that's when he went on to explain that magic isn't usually how it is in other games. The next fact is that ring magic is also part of the game. It's a different type of magic, and it can only be used by people who are in the Lucius Kingdom, which is, obviously Nocto, Promptus, Gladios, and Ignis. He also went on to say the next fact, which is that regular magic is available from the start, but ring magic isn't. Next fact is that blizzard might be the first magic you actually obtain in the game. So now this is actually going to go into the next part where they talk about the Niflheim Kingdom. And the first fact is that they reiterate that the Lucius Kingdom is dependent on magic or the crystals, and the next fact is that Niflheim is dependent on magitech / machines, and we see that in episode of Death Sky and everything. Next, he goes on to the actual characters of the game, and he goes on to introduce Eidola's Elder Capt, which is the supreme I don't want to say supreme because I'm going to get into that in a second, but he's one of the higher ups in the Niflheim Kingdom. and he is sought as a ruthless supremacist, and his politics are dependent on territorial expansion. The next fact is that he doesn't actually lead the Niflheim at the beginning of the game. The other fact is that the Chancellor Arden Izunia, which is obviously, as you can see by the image, the guy in the pink hair or the fedora that we've seen years ago, he's actually the head of the country right now. Idola is actually someone who used to be on the front lines in the militia, and he retired years back, but because of his, I guess, his experience, he's one of the higher ups in the kingdom now. But I forgot his name. What was it? Arden? I'm pretty sure. I'm trying to look at my notes right now. Yeah, Arden Izunia is very important to the story. There's another character that we've seen before, which is the next fact, is that his name is Versteo, and we've seen him before in 2013, the first trailer they showed for 15 when they reintroduced it, and he is actually the creator of the Magitech Arbor for the Niflheim. The next fact is that there's another character who is completely new called General Glauca, and he is the head of the military. The next fact is that there are two types of soldiers, one for land combat and another for all-purpose tasks, which are basically like checkpoints and inspections. We've seen both of these. We've seen actually only one in episode Death Guy, which was the first one, which is for land combat. The next fact is that there's another new character, and this new character is called, she's known as the female dragoon, or Aranea Highwind, and she is a commander of the mercenary unit, captain of the 3rd Army Corps 87th Airborne Unit for Niflheim. Next fact is that she is known as the Dragoon due to her superb aerial combat skills. So this next set of facts are actually about the gameplay. So the first fact is that the camera will adjust based on character position and direction headed or enemy target. The next fact is that swirling weapons for Noctis will return in the final game. Now you guys may remember us from Final Fantasy Versus 13, where basically he would run in, you would see all the weapons around him, swirling around him and stuff. And they brought that back because they actually found a way to make that not only a visual thing, but something that actually will incorporate into the combat. The next fact is that the UI now allows players to select weapons on the fly with directional buttons. The other fact is that the button configurations will unlock as the game progresses, unlike episode Death Guy, which we could kind of predict. The next fact is that jump, warp, defend, and attack are on the face buttons now instead of being in different areas. The next fact is that the new command, there are actually new commands and combos that can be unlocked for your allies as they level up, and these allies act on their own, and the camera will switch to them and then back to Noctis when they use these commands. The next fact is that one of the commands that Ignis, you can see in the gameplay that Ignis uses, he can basically mark an enemy with a warp point for Noctis to warp to and take out. The next fact is that Prompto can use a command called Flare, which basically blinds enemies and renders them ineffective for a little bit. The next fact is that you can stay airborne indefinitely using warp points on certain enemies. So if you actually look in the gameplay, you can see how Noctis was basically on that big Magitech armor, enemy doing a lot of damage, and he was just standing there for a while because he kept utilizing the warp points that were on that enemy. So the next set of facts are basically just like the closing facts that they had about the game and also about the March event that they're going to be basically talking about, basically the release date and everything else to go with the game. So the first fact about that is that basically they're exporting to the consoles. Right now they're exporting the game from PC to console, so they're getting very close. The next fact is that the March event is officially named Uncovered Final Fantasy 15, and they'll be overlooking everything in the game. The next fact is that this will take place on 30th of March, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which I believe is going to be 10 o'clock Eastern Time. Next fact is that it'll take place in LA, and another fact is that it'll be in the arena where the Grammys are held, the Shrine Auditorium. Another fact is that during this event, there will be translators, so it just won't be Japanese speaking, there will actually be translators, so we'll be able to understand everything going on. The next piece of information is that they may actually have additional content for the European audience, because this event is going to be going on before they're even able to be waking up. So they might have additional info after or before the event. The next info coming out of this is that the name of the new demo that we'll be able to experience will be given a name. It'll be named and everything. And the next piece of info is that it'll differ from the episode Desk Guide demo in terms of fighting and gameplay. The next piece of info is that the date, price, and content that comes with the game will be detailed at this. The retail version of 15, and the info delivered will be different than after the event going on. Next is that for XV, rather than the information that they will be sharing about Final Fantasy 15 will be for XV in the future, rather than for the people who have been waiting for Versus 13 for a while. And that's kind of good, because they actually do need to get to that point where they're starting to market this game toward the newer audience that's looking forward to this game, rather than people who have been waiting for a while, because there is an audience out there like that. Now, the last fact that I wanted to share was actually something that came up at the last minute, and this whole event is actually going to be hosted by Kind of Funny. And I don't know if you guys know who Kind of Funny is. Basically, I don't know if you guys were aware, but about a year ago, Greg Miller, Colin Moriarty, Tim Geddes, and Nick Scarpino kind of broke away from IGN, and they were a very integral part of that whole system over there, and they kind of started their own business, and it's very successful, and I love their content. I'm very much a part of the community and everything. So because they're located in LA or California, they're able to actually do this, and this is pretty big for them. So that's just something I wanted to put in for you guys for the last fact about this whole Act Town report. So yeah, that's basically it. Let me know what you guys think of all of this information down below. What was your favorite piece of information? What are you most excited for? Basically everything you guys have to say about all this information. I'm sorry I wasn't able to live stream. I might not have a live stream or a live reaction to anything. I will try to put up the gameplay trailer itself up here as soon as possible. And if you guys want me to do an analysis video of the gameplay, let me know as well. There's just a lot of technical difficulties going on my computer, and I'm trying to figure them out, but at the moment they kind of screwed me over in this, so I wasn't able to do live reactions or anything. So this is the best I could do for now. But anyways, again, if you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this in the future. Share this information with other people who are not aware, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.